You look frustrated, Scott.
My normal state, I assume. No, I was just looking at my a messaging app over here going, have I quick send a message out to everybody and get an invite out there? We'll give it a couple minutes and let people start joining in. We're almost at 7:02, so we might not start till about 7:03 tonight. Give me a moment to get folks in here. But nice to have you with us tonight, Michael.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was last week. We've been on the road a little bit.
Yeah, you've been real busy. I know with some of your speaking and some of your learning. I mean, that's just gotta take up a lot of block of consciousness. Not even just time. It's the thought that goes with it.
Yeah.
Me, I've been way too scatterbrained, I think, to do anything like that at the moment.
Well, I have no other responsibilities, so it's kind of nice.
That's good. That's good.
I got the scare of my life, so I went in on Monday to actually out process out of the military, and they had revoked my retirement order.
Oh no!
We're trying to figure out what the heck.
So you're still working on that, or have you gotten some resolution?
Well, it's amazing what happens when you tell the chain of command that you were suicidal because this just shuts down everything. I didn't get paid today because I had a retirement order. So just crap like that. So they're working it, but we just don't know if and when how soon it's gonna be till I get out.
Oh wow. Well, I'm not surprised though with bureaucracy of our government in general.
Yeah.
I swear half the times one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing, and who knows what those other hands behind the scene are trying to do. I don't know. What can I say? They're only conspiracy theories until proof is found to back up the theory.
We still have major commands in the military that are not returned to work. They're still on their COVID furloughs. I mean, they're getting
Oh,
paid
really?
from home, but you know, so like now where we're trying to fix something that's important this minute, you can't get a hold of people.
Mm,
Anyways, let me know if you
yeah.
guys have any interesting stuff on cannabis. I'm still trying to keep as involved as possible.
Excellent. Will do. Will do. Yeah, let me I see we're at 7:04 here. Let me pull up my little form and we will get started for tonight. Great chatting with you, Mike. All right, let's see. Files open recent 2018 April. All righty, here we go. It is Wednesday. We're actually at about 7:0, almost 5. This is the South Carolina Cannabis Conversation. My name is Scott Weldon. I am the Executive Director of the South Carolina chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, lovingly known as NORML. I'd like to start by welcoming everybody who's here on the call with me, everybody who might be watching this live on our YouTube channel, and also welcome anybody who might be viewing this on YouTube later on as a recording. Mentioning YouTube, I always like to point out that during our calls, we are not monitoring the live stream on YouTube. So if you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them down below in the comment section. We will visit the comment section once YouTube is done rendering the video, which usually takes about 24 hours. And then at that point, try to address your questions, comments, and concerns. Again, welcome to everybody, and I will start with our disclaimer that all of our meetings are an environment of education and awareness and are not an open market for the sale, purchase, or distribution of cannabis. We do not encourage or condone illegal behavior of any kind. Okay, let me close that up, get it out of the way, close up this little document, and I don't even have hide that one. I don't even have a per se agenda written for tonight. As some of you may have noticed on our announcement a couple of days ago or yesterday, tonight we are talking about South Carolina Normal doing a lobby day. We had tried to talk about this a couple of weeks back. We sort of put things on hold. Like I mentioned earlier to Mike, I have not been really well focused lately. But had a conversation with my board list that past week, a couple days ago, and actually we have reestablished a new date for our lobby day. We were planning it toward the end of April, and I was toward the end of January, shortly after the start of session, which starts January 11th. And me not ever doing a lobby day before, I'm thinking, let's do it for Friday, Friday. I come to find out that the legislators don't hang out on Friday. Apparently, they come in sometime on Tuesday and leave on Thursday night, or at least that's my understanding. I don't know for sure. I tried to get a little information from some other, some other advocacy groups, and I've really had a roadblock actually with the ACLU of South Carolina. Frank Knecht, their executive director, left to go to New Hampshire, and they have an interim director, and they're not responding or replying to my emails. Frank even said he would, put me in contact with them. They haven't responded through Frank in any way. I was hoping somebody at ACLU South Carolina would have a pretty good idea of the schedule and structure of the days of the week up in Columbia for me, and that they've done some things of that nature in that arena. To date, I haven't been able to contact anybody there. I did reach out to Jill over at Compassionate Care Alliance, and it was a little bit through chat, and she just didn't seem to feel that she was real forthcoming about her knowledge on it. So I just kind of, like I say, backburned it a little bit till I could do some investigating and research. And so I did a little bit more looking into it, and it seems like a lot of organizations will do a lobby days in Columbia on Wednesdays. I don't know why. I'm guessing Wednesday maybe is the day to do it. So to give ourselves a little bit of time, we've rolled it out a little bit further, and it is now scheduled for Wednesday, February 9th. Let me just double check my calendar, open it up here and look, make sure I'm not talking 1974 or something dumb like that. Living in the past. Wednesday, yeah, it's in the second week of February. It's the 9th, just a little bit ahead of Valentine's Day. Bring your loved one to the Capitol and let's talk to your legislators. I'm in the process now on our Action Next. My mouth is not working. On our Action Network page, creating an event, and basically I'm going to call it Lobby Day and Press Conference, February 9th, starting at 9 a.m. The plan is, and in my hand I have an application for State House events to basically do a little press conference in the Capitol lobby on the first floor of the Capitol starting at 9 a.m. Hopefully we'll be able to have a couple people speak and talk about why we're there, supporting marijuana. And as our press conference, basically, I guess our topic is that Normal is actively, South Carolina Normal is actively getting involved in supporting and or endorsing candidates that are supporting marijuana legislation in South Carolina. I think that's going to be kind of our buzz for the press conference thing. I'd rather call it a press conference than just a rally. And I'd call it a press conference, contact media before we get there, say, hey, we're going to be there at the Capitol on this day. There's going to be a marijuana press conference with South Carolina Normal, blah, blah, blah. We're only about 9 weeks. I don't have the numbers in front of me, out from that particular date. So it's not quite the 3 months that I wish we had to start pulling this together. But like I say, I kind of fumbled a little bit. And I'll get back to these in a second. I'm looking at chat real quick. So I'm going to get this application done in the next day or two and get this out to the powers that be that control the facility. If they poo-poo or 9 o'clock in the rotunda, I don't know exactly, or in the lobby of the Capitol, I don't know exactly what we'll do. Maybe they'll offer me another place, the East Ground Gardens, the North Ground Steps. Otherwise, we may not do a press conference and just go do a lobby day. And lobby day basically will consist of the event I'm putting together. We're going to be asking people that want to go there with us to sign up to this event. To sign up, we're requiring your name, your address, and your mobile phone number and email, actually. The reason we want all that information, and I know a lot of people don't like to share personal information when they're advocating for marijuana, but the problem, what we're asking is your physical address where you're registered to vote, because that way we can know who your legislators are. And from there, we can go start scheduling with your senator and your representative, or your senators and representative, and see if we can make appointments and start getting some of the scheduling done. Like I say, having only about 9 weeks to do that is going to be kind of a push. Thankfully, I do have Kristen, who said that she will help me actually hopefully take charge of most of the actual scheduling with the legislative offices. Excuse me. Now, when I say meet with your legislators and talk with your legislators, I do want to be forthright and forthcoming that we may not actually get an opportunity to talk with your legislator. We might talk to one of their aides, and that's still fine. To get their aide's ear is to still get your legislator's ear, especially if you've got an aide that is interested in the topic. A good example, a couple of years back, I don't even have the card anymore. I had met with Joe Cunningham at a local park. He was doing a meet and greet. And I happen to have one of our books that I take to most candidates, the Emerging Clinical Applications book. And basically, I was going to hand it to Joe, and he thanked me and said, "But would you hand it to my aide over here?" And so I handed it to him. Now I don't remember his name. I think it was Jose something, and I don't think I have his card anymore because he's no longer, Joe's no longer in that position. But what was interesting to me, it was a couple of weeks later, I went to my local library for some other event, not necessarily marijuana related, and not even a meet and greet, but some other, community event. And although Joe wasn't there, Joe Cunningham wasn't there at that particular event, his aide was there. And I happened to get a chance to talk to him, and he recognized me, and he goes, "Oh, and I was reading some of that book. That's very interesting." So when you get a chance to talk with their aides, I mean, it's almost sometimes I want to say better, because they might be able to be a little bit more focused on your subject and then be able to take that message back to the legislator for you, and share the booklet with them. But as this aide did, he actually read some of it first and helped educate himself and give himself some insight. So when he did hand it off to the legislator, he at least knew a little bit about what it was that we handed him, and could maybe express what it was. So that's the plan at this point. Is our overall plan is to do a lobby week starting on, we'll call it Sunday, February 6th. We're going to work up a schedule on different things to do during the week. Wednesday is going to be the center of it, and we'll call it the centerpiece of it, of going to the Capitol and actually talking to our legislators. It was funny. I mentioned to somebody I know local here And he says, "Oh, I'd go along for that." And I says, "Oh, you want to go and talk to Senator Sandy Sen?" And he goes, "Oh, no, 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 I can't talk to Sandy. Sandy Sen is my senator here, I'm in her district. I forget what it is, Senate seat 121, something like that. Anyway, and so it's this guy, but this guy happens to know her from the past and know, I guess, apparently an ex-husband and I don't know. Apparently, they're just not friends, so he doesn't want to go and sit and talk with his senator. So I told him, "Hey, come and talk to your House representative," which I think in his district is Spencer Wetmore, and she's pro-marijuana, so she'd be an easy one to talk to. That will kind of be the challenge for us moving forward. Is as y'all contact us, and we start getting places on the schedule. My understanding is these offices are not all next to each other, and there's some running around and back and forth. We may end up trying to split up our folks into some smaller groups, so some can go one place and some can go another. We're hoping that we can have one of our. I'm not sure how many of our board members are going to be able to make it up there with us, but I know two of us at least will be there. So I'm hoping one of the two of us can be sitting in with each and every one of you while we're talking to your legislator, and hopefully have a couple of other people with us. Maybe they're not all from that district, but they'd obviously all be from the state. And the more from each district that we can get, the more that we can get to sit in with each of these legislators, the better, and see where it goes from there. All right. What are South Carolina membership numbers? Our numbers? I wish I laughed too easily at that. I think our paid memberships last year were roughly 26. I've got grand hopes. I ordered up a pack of 50 membership cards to kick off our year. I'm hoping that we get some momentum with all this stuff going on. Mace sponsoring legislation, the medical bill coming up for debate, hopefully promised on the Senate floor, first thing January. So our numbers, and I've said this to folks forever, the more members we have, the more power, the more sway we'll have with legislators when we talk to them. With 24 paid memberships, it doesn't look like we have a lot of strong commitment in the state. Now, and I've said this before, a lot of people, and I even had the same comment just a couple of days ago, a lot of people are afraid to join our organization. They're afraid that somehow or another, if they join our organization, their name's going to get put on the list by the government, by the law enforcement. Somehow or another, they're going to, do I believe the CIA probably has access to all of our records? Probably, if they really wanted to look at them. Do I believe we have anything that they really want to look at? I would like to think not. But then again, there's been crazier things happen in politics, going back many, many years. And I've been hearing this ever since I moved to South Carolina. So for almost 6 years now, people telling me, I don't want to join because I don't want to be on a list. I don't want anybody having my name to know that I support marijuana. I've had people telling me, look, I don't mind being a member, but I still want to be hush hush because I'm a teacher. I'm a pharmacist was one. They could lose their pharmacy certification.
I'm a soldier.
I'm a soldier. So many different reasons why people will tell me I'm afraid to join. Whatever it is, I'm afraid to get on the list. They're afraid somebody's going to know. And I can't guarantee that there aren't eavesdroppers in the government somehow or another can access our Action Network or our Shopify site and go, oh, look who bought a membership. So sadly to say, our numbers aren't real strong. We've got a very thin budget to work with annually. I think this year's probably been a little stronger than most. I think we hit up to almost $3,000 in total donations. There was a local pub did a big fundraiser actually back in April, and they donated about $900 to us. So I do have a sign maker up in Pennsylvania, a company called 420 Print Media. My wife and I actually used to do some business with another one of his businesses way back. Actually, it wasn't even all that far back. They were doing some shipping service from some of the work we do in the publishing industry. And he contacted me because I was curious. I was looking into rally signs and stuff like that. And what I think about is these 18 by 24 inch yard signs, corrugated plastic, blah, blah, blah. And he went, yeah, those are great and all, but that's kind of where everybody thinks of because they see them on the side of the road. But they're big to hold, they can be sharp on the edges, and they cost a lot of money. I can do you a whole lot better with a little bit smaller sizing, paper-based, cardboard-based, kind of signs, 4-color. If we want two-sided, you take two signs, stick them together, and they're unlike these. I had some of the yard signs down. If I ordered like 100 of them, all the same, one side one thing, one side the other, so they could be different a little bit, but all 100 had to be the same, and I got them down to about $4 a piece. If I wanted to try and get variety on there, the prices just started jumping and jumping. These paper signs this guy has for our rally press conference are, I think, roughly 50 cents a piece or less. And so we could take two of them and stick them together if we want to do two-sided for any reason, and still be at a really reasonable cost for our members so that we can. My plan on a rally, my plan would probably be to have the signs with us if people want to give us a donation to help support that. I'm asking this guy, and actually I have to get back in touch with him, to create a couple of spaces on the bottom of some of the signs where we can have sponsors put their logo. So we can get some sponsors to hopefully help support the cost of the signs so that when we go for Rally Day, we have a bunch to hand out. Do I expect everybody to show up at the White House, at the State House with us to be members? That I don't expect either. Just because, like I say, we don't require it. I want everybody who wants to go and talk to a legislator to come with us, whether they have a paid membership with us or not. But hopefully that answered that question. Yep. Jessica shared the link to the statehouse.gov. Actually, if you just go to that page down bottom left is where that legislator search box is. Type in your address because it goes by the address that you're registered to vote at. So type in the address that you've used to register to vote. It'll populate your legislators, both federal and state level. Well, Josh, have you seen the opinion letter by Attorney General Alan Wilson on Delta 8? I'm not looking to have any of our supporters go to jail. Not that it would happen. Delta 8 is a gray area in this state. And hemp flower as well. I mean, when the opinion letter by Alan Wilson was generated at the request of Mark Keel, chief of SLED, a year plus ago, saying that the hemp flower was illegal, even Senator Tom Davis went, oh, no, that's not the way we wrote the law. But depending on what county you're in this state, that local county may or may not be a little bit more aggressive in taking advantage of that opinion letter by Attorney General Alan Wilson. I understand quite a bit more in the upstate where they've raided farms, they've raided shops, retail shops. They cleaned them out. We think there's too much THC in this stuff. Josh is saying no way in the city of Columbia. What? No way that somebody could smoke flower and get away with it? Anyway, I would rather, I mean, if I was comfortable with the hemp flower, like I was originally when it first sort of got legalized in the state, I was smoking some of it out on the streets, and I was saying, this is going to be an interesting test because somebody's going to be walking down the street smoking one of these hemp pre-rolls, and a cop's going to arrest them for it because it smells like weed. I've been to what was it, Slightly Stupid concerts a couple of times, and where do they set us up? Right next to the CB guys that are selling the hemp flower and the pre-rolls. And people are looking at it. Well, a couple of events. We were also at a balloon festival, and they put us next to a CBD seller selling pre-rolls. And everybody's looking at us going, it smells like pot over here. And I just go, hemp pre-rolls next door. It ain't us. It ain't us. I mean, nobody was arrested or anything like that, but that was, like I say, sort of this was pre-pandemic. And Charleston is a little bit more relaxed on it. I know I've gone into a couple of shops here in Charleston, and there's hemp flower available for sale in retailers. I can't say it for sure, but it's my understanding you move up into the upstate, up to the Greenville area. I believe Myrtle Beach has popped a couple of places in the not that distant future. So anyway, kind of backtrack to our lobby day. Where are we time-wise? Yeah, we're only at 7:30. We'll work on getting some signs together for you all for the preliminary event, the press conference. And then we will, like I say, we'll get this event probably posted in the next day or two. I have it titled Lobby Day and Press Conference 2022. Like I say, we will ask for everybody's address information. Mobile phones we're asking for, so basically on that day we can contact you if we don't know where you are, if we know your appointment's coming up and we're supposed to be meeting with you and we can't find you. Overall communications for that day. So again, we're asking for mobile numbers. We're asking for email, which is where we're going to be probably doing most of our communicating with you. And like I say, full addresses and of course your names. You can use an alias for all we know. I will get that posted up to our website and to all of our social media in the next day or two, and we'll start hitting that on our regular cycle moving forward. On our call yesterday with National, yesterday was our state policies call, and it happened to be Carly Wolf, who is our state policies director at National, is leaving National. Her last day is December 3rd. I'm not exactly sure where she's heading off to, but I know she's staying in the advocacy world. And we were also introduced to the replacement, who is Jax James, who is the executive director of Texas Normal. I don't know if it's called Texas Normal, but Texas Normal. I just saw the question, where's Justin going? Did I miss something?
I thought Justin was leaving us too.
Oh, yes, Justin's leaving as well. He's leaving at the end of the year, so he's not leaving till December 31st. Yes, Justin Streckel, who is our political director at National. We don't have any update on who the new political director is going to be, so I'm anxiously awaiting to see what happens there. Justin will probably help stay in touch with us. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of glad you mentioned his name. I have to reach out to him. I've asked him to update some information on our candidate questionnaire, which is basically a questionnaire from 2022, and a lot of the information on that relates to bills that are no longer active or have been updated. He's like, at first he says he didn't think he would, and then he's like, well, yeah, I think I might be able to get that done for you. I'll follow up. I want to make sure that's done because we will be again pushing out our candidate questionnaire to all candidates as the elections start to ramp up. Talking about elections ramping up, I did tell you all a couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week I mentioned it, when Nancy Mace announced her federal bill to deschedule. Right around that same time when she had her press conference for that, I think a day or two before that press conference, Dr. Annie Andrews out of Mount Pleasant had announced her intent to run for that same seat. So there is that is the first congressional district of South Carolina, and so Nancy Mace does have a candidate, an opponent on there. I had been trying for the past couple of weeks, I think 3 or so weeks, to reach out to this Dr. Andrews and ask what their marijuana position is. Once before Nancy made her announcement. Then once Nancy made her announcement, I reached out again. And then about a week ago, I got an email through Twitter, a message through Twitter, basically, because I had liked their campaign page. Oh, thanks for liking our page. Would you like to donate? So I responded to the donate request with, what I'd really like is the answer to my question on what is your marijuana policy? Do you need help getting your marijuana policy put together? Because, again, and I'll say it to all of you again, we will do our best to assist any candidate, no matter what side of the aisle, with developing their marijuana policy if they don't currently have one, especially if it's a pro-marijuana policy. We're not going to help you a whole lot with an anti-marijuana policy because we're just not good at that. We're not good at that at all. I could say gateway and let you go on your way. So that was exciting news. So we do know that we do have a race there. I don't know where that'll go or how much of a contender that is, and I don't know what effect that'll have on the legislation of Nancy's legislation, the States' Rights Act. What I do know on Nancy's bill that I would like to see is a House version, a Senate version of her House bill, a Senate version of the States' Rights Act as a House bill or as a Senate bill. So I don't know. Why don't you all start writing letters to Tim Scott and to Lindsey Graham and ask them if they'll sponsor a companion bill? I mean, to be quite honest with you, it's not a bad ask. It's not a bad ask. I mean, if we could get it from South Carolina, but I doubt it, because of course, as soon as Nancy mentioned her bill, and now I forget his name. I don't have it in front of me, but the leader of the GOP in South Carolina disavowed her claim and says the Republican Party in South Carolina is not interested. We obey laws and we support police, and we're not interested in legalization of marijuana anywhere. Excuse me. So I don't know how many other Republican candidates or incumbents will even answer our questionnaire, answer our questions. Most times they'll ignore us and pass on them. But again, as we start moving forward, we'll have the candidate questionnaire readily available to you guys on our website to share. If you'd like to send it to your candidates or ask us to send it to your candidates in your community, keep us posted on who's running if you happen to know. And let's see where we can go with marijuana legislation in South Carolina this coming year. And again, this is talking Nancy's federal level, and the other one that I know of is heck, what's his first name again? Running against Joe Wilson in the second congressional district. Heck, I'm completely blanking on this guy's name right now. I'm not seeing it. Anyway, I did talk with his folks the other day, and I've been really putting it off. I'm supposed to send a intro letter to his intern to introduce him to Kristen, because Kristen has a little bit of a different perspective on reasons why decriminalization is so important, or why full legalization is so important. And one of the things we want to talk with these candidates is, of course, harm reduction, and that to me ties more closely with decriminalization, although it does as well, more so, if not as well as with full legalization. But we'll start working that as we move forward. All right, I've rambled long enough. Questions, comments, thoughts? I'm going to look through the chat here. If anybody has any questions or comments, and or especially suggestions, if you've ever been involved in a lobby day at the Capitol, or a Capitol, any Capitol, yeah, love to hear your thoughts and input. I know I've got a little bit of a preconceived thought on some of the rally press conference things, and the reason the reason I want to kind of call it, part of the reason I want to call it a press conference, is I don't want to make it look like a bunch of tie-dyed stoners. You know, I'd like the way I'd like to be a little bit more conservative looking, I guess would be the call. I mean, as much as I would love to do a giant smoke-in, that's not the message I want to send. And the reason that this is another conversation we have had, yeah, professional is possible to be taken seriously. Thank you for that comment, Jessica. We've had this conversation a number of times again with National, and I'm talking with folks that have already made legislation happen in other states. And the conversation always seems to be, or not always, but often seems to move towards keep the outward appearances relatively conservative, because it seems that media, no matter what, will focus in on the only two old hippies there. I mean, any day of the week, almost any day of the week, that could be my wife and I. But, you know, on a lobby day, I'd really rather not present that image, because that's what the media is going to focus on. And that's what our 2 or 3 or 5 seconds are going to be. They're going to show pot leaves. They're going to show some of our rally signs, and they're going to show the hippiest looking people that they can find. At least that's kind of the vibe that I've been told, you know, can quite often happen. So that we want to try and keep it, yeah, like I said, I'd love to have us a smoking somewhere, a big ass party or picnic or something like that, as an organization, as a fundraiser sometime. But our time at the Capitol, we're going to have to kind of play the game a little bit and dress accordingly. Try and be appropriate to the, show them your white collar hippie side that day. There you go. I like that. Yeah. I've had a lot of years with my hair short like this since about when I turned 28 years old. I lost a job and I had to go apply for jobs. And at that time, my hair was pretty much down to my ass. I would cut it when I'd start sitting on it too much. So like usually about once a year, I'd have it cut up to about my belt. And about the end of the year, you know, I'd be sitting on it, and then time to get it trimmed up to my belt again. Well, At 28 years old, I lost the job. I went, oh, fuck. Now, let's go ahead and look respectable. And shaved it all off for the most part. And I've just never gone back. And to be quite honest with you, it's so much easier to deal with. Half the morning, I brush it with a washcloth and I'm done. You know, I wore my freak flag, real proud for a lot of years. Um, but I just don't have the patience to deal with that anymore. Uh, so if at best I'd wear extensions for smoking, one of those fake Rasta hats. Anyhow, let me again quick look back. People are laughing at my little story and don't look like a stoner, just smell like one. That's a good option, a good possibility. Unfortunately, still South Carolina can say, I think I smell something, I'm going to search you. But, oh, hell, I got pulled over for the first time in forever a couple of years back. Rolled the stop sign as I'm looking at the cop. And I was on my way to a class, an evening class, and I had I'm one of those people. I leave the house. My father used to be a doctor, and he'd come home for dinner, and before he'd go back out to write orders to the hospital, he basically would shave again, and he would, brush his teeth, whatever, and then get ready to leave the house. So I had some aftershave on and stuff. I'm ready to leave the house for the evening. Well, when I finally rolled down my window, because at first I generally don't roll down my window for cops, but eventually I rolled down my window because it was hot and I didn't have air conditioning. And he smells my aftershave, and he's like, I smell aftershave. Are you trying to hide the smell of pot? This is after all this conversation when he asked me earlier if I had pot in the car. And I told him, I've got magazines, I've got stickers, I've got, all kinds of literature. What can I teach you about marijuana here today, sir? But no real marijuana in the car. But yeah, when he smelled my aftershave and he says, oh, I smell aftershave. You trying to cover something up? And like, oh, where did you get your master's degree in the cleanliness habits of old men? And he laughed and went away. And explains all. Ooh, we're talking about a book. What we have on hand are, as I was showing you guys earlier, our clinical applications book. And I love the idea of other books. As a matter of fact, we have some access to a couple of other books relatively inexpensively, Cannabinomics and Marijuana is Safer Than Alcohol, So Why Are They Driving Us to Drink? I can get those both through through Normal at a relatively reasonable price. But again, 10 bucks a book. If the person that's coming to visit with their legislator wants to invest in a book other than the one that we're going to supply, because like I said, I have these in stock. We've paid for them already, and a newer version's out, so I kind of want to get rid of our old stock on them. We have about 50 copies of these. So these I have available to give to them. It's a pretty good one. It's 2017 version, so there are a couple of hundred research reviews in the new one that aren't in the old one. About 100, I believe, actually, not a couple hundred. I think about 100 other. The new one just came out, printed copy about a month ago. So like I said, we're trying to move some of our old copies out. We do have these to give to your legislators when we do go for lobby day. If we do get any of the others in, which I'm not planning for that, but I might, I'll pick up some Cannabinomics, or actually I'll probably pick up Marijuana is Safer Than Alcohol first, because I just think it's a more on point book. But I am going to, as somebody else is saying down here, I want to go copy this so I know. I've never seen this book either. There it is. No. Now I can copy. Okay. All right. Do you have a link to your store where this book is? I like that line. I don't look like a stoner. I just smell like one. Thank you for that one, Josh. All right. Jessica's going to share a link with us for that book in case anybody's interested. Got it. Thank you. I'll take a look there at that link. Yes, we definitely want to have leave behinds for them. So we'll share a little bit more of that information as well. We're going to have a little bit of a format, how we want to talk with them. We want to kind of make sure everybody stays on message. And our message for this lobby day is primarily harm reduction through decriminalization. I mean, if we talk a little bit about medical marijuana and the upcoming Senate floor debate and potentially moving to the House, fine, well, good. But again, we want to try and keep the focus primarily on harm reduction of marijuana law reform, and that can include medical marijuana decriminalization and everything. So that's where I would ask you all to sort of, if you are coming along for the event, talking to your legislators, kind of frame your topic points around harm reduction through marijuana law reform. All right, what are we seeing here? Okay, no other comments that I'm noticing. I do want to look back at this form I'm making. I will get this lobby day sign up event in the next 24 hours and start posting that. And otherwise, that's all I got tonight. Before I go, I will throw it out there again one last time if anybody has any other comments or thoughts. Count Josh in again. I'll make sure you get you signed up on here so we kind of get you logged. That should be fun. I'm a little, I don't know the word, intimidated, scared. I've never done this before, but let's go ahead and give it a shot and see what we come up with. I think I think it's going to be interesting. I think it'd be very interesting because again, we are turn that into excitement. Yeah, well, maybe that's what it is that a little bit of excitement. Yes. Anxious. That's the word I'm looking for. Appreciate that. Anyway, I think it's going to be interesting because, like I say, I know I'm going to schedule to go and talk with my Senator Sandy Sen, and I know Sandy's position already. She's not pro marijuana. I'll enjoy the brownies too. I love brownies. Make sure I don't get too faded to be talking to Sandy Sen, or she'll go, see, you're the reason why I don't want to legalize it. You smell a weed and you look stoned. All right, Shane's heading out. I think the rest of us are going to go as well. So as we all say goodnight to Shane, let's all just say goodnight to each other. We'll see you all back here again next Wednesday at 7 o'clock for the South Carolina Cannabis Conversation. Don't forget to keep an eye on our social media, on Facebook more so than anywhere, but also on Instagram and Twitter. Don't forget to visit our website at scnormal.org. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and sign up for our newsletter. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's it for me tonight. Again, I'm Scott Welder with the South Carolina Cannabis Conversation. And that's all I got tonight. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.